I was really blessed to have a mom that worked in the ANC with alongside Nelson Mandela and so with the political people
Yep.
back then. My brother, we kind of saw this thing of fighting for what you desire and all.
Yep.
Through my mom,
Yep.
because she fought for women's rights, she fought for teachers' rights, she fought for the country on its
Yep.
own while we were growing up,
Yep.
So the last thing she actually said to me was to say, go out there, make me proud, and don't let anyone tell you you can't be what you want to be, and go show the people how good you are. We live 2 hours away. How do I do this boxing? And then my wife said, you can do this. Let's do it. It's sacrifices. Stay in the gym 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You stay in the gym, come home for 1 week.
Yeah.
And then I took a break from boxing because my son was born.
Yeah.
When he was born, he was around for like 10 days. And then he had a surgery with his heart and he passed away, So with that, it was the most hardest time for me and my wife.
Yeah.
Then the promoter phones and says, fight is off. 2 days before we're about to leave.
Wow. So it's an absolute pleasure today to welcome an unbelievable guy who captured the WBF International Super Featherweight title, then added another belt to his collection by claiming the WBF African Lightweight Championship. So we're really excited to welcome David Rajuili to the show to share his secrets and sacrifices of his professional boxing journey so far and much, much more. So David, welcome to the show.
No, thank you very much for having me on your show. Thank you for having me on your platform. Looking forward talking to you and talking to the fans and sharing my story with you at the end of the day. And once again, it's an honor to be on your platform, and thank you for reaching out.
Oh, thank you for those kind words. That's amazing. So thank you very much for that. So before we start, so the listeners can get to know you just a little bit better, we've come up with a new game called Knowing You.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you 6 quick fire questions, all about yourself, and we're going to compete against the other guests to see who can get the most right in the correct and fastest time possible. And it's 1 point for each correct answer. So are you up for that, David?
Oh yeah, let's go. Shoot away.
Okie dokie. Right, okay. First question is, what is the nickname you are known to by your fans?
The dangerous darky.
Fabulous. Can you remember who your debut fight was against back in 2012?
Not the name, but I know it was at the Birchwood Hotel in Benoni.
Okay.
And yes, not the name exactly, the guy.
Okay, that's okay. After impressing which international trainer during a WBF All-African fight did you sign for the Fight Factory in Manchester?
Sean Crew from my Manchester Fight Factory, yes.
Cool. Who was the last fight you fought before you're hanging up your gloves?
Anthony Yageti.
Yeah. And then how many years do you say you have been boxing for?
If I had to take it from when I first stepped into the gym, it will be about 24 years.
Perfect. Okay, and then last one. You say you've worked with some unbelievable and amazing trainers throughout your boxing career, but who did you say was the local boxing legend you trained under?
Yes, Zonke Fana.
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. So there's your 6 quick fire questions there. Hopefully that will give the listeners a little bit of a flavour into the background, into your fighting career, which I'm sure we'll touch on a lot more as we go through the show.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that.
No problem.
Okay, so let's begin the show. So as you know, the podcast is to shine the light on the secrets and sacrifices all professional athletes go through, um, and to allow their children to become elite level athletes. So my first question is, could you take me back to your earliest childhood memories of when
Yeah.
you was living at home and what family life was like back then?
Okay, well, I was born in Soweto, in the southwestern townships of Johannesburg, South Africa,
Okay,
in 1989. That time we were going through apartheid time.
okay,
So I was really blessed to have a mom that worked in the ANC with alongside Nelson Mandela and so with the political people
yep,
back then. So at that time, Nelson Mandela was coming out of prison. There was a lot of striking and new voting. A whole system was changing. And
okay,
as I now, I was very privileged enough to be part of that, to be in that family. So obviously, in 1990, when Nelson Mandela was released from prison,
yep,
uh, a lot happened in the ANC, where the ANC was in the government in South Africa, and
yep.
my mom was part of that. She was the vice president of the South African Teachers Union, and she
Wow,
was CEO of Gender Equality. So
yep,
she did a lot of work for the ANC and the government at the time.
wow,
So with that whole change, us coming out of apartheid, obviously my life had changed. I
yep,
had then around 4 or 5 years old.
yep,
We the new president was in Nelson Mandela was voted into power at around that time.
okay,
Uh, so my mom was working in the president's office at the time for gender equality and all. So at that time we had moved. I had moved from the southwestern township Soweto into
yep,
the suburbs. You know,
okay,
uh, I was the first of many African guys in white schools and all. You know, we lived from the township to the like a privileged life because
okay,
my mom ANC and all. And this is where we not just myself, me, my sister, and my brother, we kind of saw this thing of fighting for what you desire and all
yep,
through my mom,
yep,
because she fought for women's rights, she fought for teachers' rights, she fought for the country on its
yep,
own while we were growing up.
yep,
So we got that from her.
yep,
From
yep,
there, we moved over to the suburbs. I grew up in the south of Johannesburg in South Africa. And growing up there, it was good, different, very different to being in the townships, obviously.
yep.
Now you around white people, you're in the suburbs. I still remember seeing my first white friend, which we are still friends to this day. He sat on my wall, and I'm like, "Who's this white?"
Bless.
And since then, and
Oh,
uh, it was a whole change of scenery.
okay.
But that scenery made me the person I am today.
Yep.
Meeting these people, they taught me how to speak English, play cricket,
Okay.
play rugby, things like
Yep.
this. Before I started boxing, I
Yep.
was going carp fishing on the weekends with my one friend.
Right.
He was teaching me how to speak English, like,
Yep.
and so forth. So that was good.
Yep.
Uh, Obviously, then I was in school with a lot of my friends of today
Yep.
in a good like I said, we were lucky enough. My mom sent us to the base schools from the age of 6.
Okay.
Me, my brother, my sister, and we were just privileged enough to get this.
Yeah.
But saying that, years went down. The Nelson Mandela, the party changes,
Okay.
the new president comes, and then like my mom had lost her job, so we went to live in the hood. And then
Okay.
this is where my boxing career actually started,
Right. Okay.
from living the high life in the
Yep.
suburbs and all to going back to living in the hood, which was living with my auntie, like
Yep.
14 of us in the house.
Wow.
Uh, but, my mom always, the fighter that she was,
Yep.
kept us going, and she actually put me into boxing. But
Right. Okay.
When you're ready to hear that story, I'm ready to tell you, yes.
Okay. So did I read correctly then you started at round about the age of 8 years old and you was watching a boxing match on telly and you was inspired by your countryman and former world champion Brian Mitchell. Is that correct?
100%. 100%. I don't know what happened with your sound. Okay, there now I can hear you.
That's okay.
With that, this is an amazing story. So one day, we were just sitting at home. So there was a talk show, a show in South Africa back in the days called Blow by Blow.
Okay.
It was a South African boxing show.
Okay.
And I never really understood why my mom made me watch Brian Mitchell, because Brian Mitchell is he's a Caucasian man, a white man, and she just said, watch this man. And I want you to see that this man never gave up, because he was the only fighter at that time that could fight outside of South Africa.
Right. Okay.
And he captured all the world titles. He was not beaten.
Yeah.
His fans couldn't come with him to the fights. Because we were going through apartheid and stuff. And even in South Africa, he would go into the townships and fight, and against black guys. And this is what during apartheid time. And funny enough, the black people actually loved him. They called him the mincing machine, and he just had this big following, and they called him the road warrior. And at the time, I didn't know why Mom was making me watch Brian Mitchell, but I'll never forget that night when she said, watch this, and I watched this man box, and I was like, wow, they were showing the highlights, and I was like, and she was like, she said to me, she's like, I want you to be like this man.
Right.
So
Okay.
as I said to her, okay, I was also very naughty at school, because my mom was in the government. So I was one of those kids that really took advantage of everything. And I would like to fight at school and stuff like this. Then she was like, I want you to be like this man. As I said, beginning, I didn't know what she meant.
Yep.
But then I said, okay, Mom, I want to go to boxing. Okay. I want to do this. I want to do this. And she said, because I was always getting into trouble for hitting somebody or something like this at school, she said, yes, I feel this is for you. You need this just to release your stress, whatever it is. And then the next day, she said, when you get back from school, I want to take you somewhere. I came back very excited. And just around the corner, she took me to box office in the south there in Johannesburg. This is where I started my boxing career.
Okay.
And she took me there. And I'll never forget a coach of my good friend of mine till this day, Anton Gilmore.
Okay.
As I walked in there, I looked at the bags and all. And he said to me, throw a punch. And I was like, boom, boom. And then he was like, you know what, I see a champion in you. And I was like, yeah, whatever, bro. I just want to hit the bag, And he taught me how to jab. He taught me my first left hook, taught me how to stand in my stance. And there's one thing he always said. He said to me, Dave, you must keep shooting for the stars. I was like, okay, Anton, whatever that means,
Yep.
And so my boxing career started there, And over time, the sad thing about this is my mom passed away when I just started my boxing career. So
okay.
She was my family, from my grandparents and everybody, were very against boxing. I was the only one in the family that was allowed to box.
Okay.
Yes. So even I remember I went to my grandfather's house. We had a big meeting. My brother wanted to box. They said no. I was allowed to box. And, I still remember my first amateur fight. My mom wanted to be there, but she was sick. She died from AIDS,
Bless her.
So she wanted to come to the fight. I still remember she was like, go there. Go make me proud. Go show these people who you are, I believe in you. And I still remember I won a little trophy. And then my sister took us to the hospital. And this was the last time I saw my mom. And I showed her the trophy. I was like, Mom, look. And she said, yes, I know you're going to do this, my boy. This is what you are destined to do,
Right.
And the last thing she actually said to me was to say, go out there, make me proud. And don't let anyone tell you you can't be what you want to be, and go show the people how good you are.
Yeah.
You know, because I was very naughty, as I said, at school. So I would always get from teachers, "You will amount to nothing.
Yeah.
You're going nowhere, David. Nothing's going to happen in your life. You're so naughty," stuff like this. So the only person that really believed in me at the time was my mom, you know. And that was the last thing she said to me was, "Go out there, go to show the people.
And would you say that
and show the people, and don't let anybody tell you can't be what you want to be."
Yeah.
And I still remember I wiped the tears from my eyes and I walked away and I was like, "You know what, I'm coming to see you next week. I'll tell you." And that was the last conversation we had, you know.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
With that, it kind of hurt me in a way where it set me back. But I didn't stop training because it was what kept me connected to my mom. I'm a mommy's boy. I'm the last of the family. There was 4 of us. I'm the little baby, you know.
Right. Okay.
So this, I felt, kept me connected to my mom, you know. So I kept training. What, you know, I remember the days she would wake me up actually at 4 a.m. after watching Brian Mitchell, and I would do the Rocky thing. We put eggs in the cup. You drink raw eggs, and then you hit the road, you know. And she loved that. I think that's what she wanted to see me get fit and all of that, you know. And when she was gone, I kind of stopped doing that because she wasn't around. But I kept training, and I just had this feeling inside of me that, you know what, I'm destined for something big, something great in the sport of boxing. In South Africa, boxing is not it's not easy to get by. It's either you in with the big promoters, and they help you, they guide you to the top. Like we got the likes of Kevin Lerena and everybody, you know, from the beginning of his career, Golden Gloves has got him to where he is today, you know. And we have a certain bit of fighters that are in that circle. If you're not in that circle, no matter how good you are, no matter what, you're going nowhere. You know, your career will just be staggered.
Yeah. So would you say that was your first wow moment in the boxing world when you won that first like little trophy that you took to show your mum? Would you say that? Because we ask quite a lot of our guests, or most of our guests, what was their first wow moment? And we had Frey Levy on not so long ago, and hers was when she played in the Copper Box Arena. It was, and we've had other guests that have shared like different stories where we had Danny Evans on, one of our first guests, and his first wow moment was when he was playing for Team GB basketball. He turned up at one of the hotels, and there was loads of fans outside, all with like the Great British flags. They wanted autographs. So they saw this nice big fancy hotel, and he was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." This. So would you say that's your like kind of first wow moment in the sport, or would it be something else?
I think over the years I've had many wow moments because there's times I never thought I would be fighting overseas. I think the WBF, getting invited to the WBF convention in Slovenia. That was the big wow moment. Reason being is I've never been on a plane. I've never been to Europe. And my dream, I would always, you know, I moved around from Johannesburg to Durban and everything. And I would always run on the promenade because I lived by the ocean. And I would always run on the promenade early in the mornings, and I would look out of the sea. And I would say to myself, God, I belong out there. I really, really, really believe I belong out there while I'm running, you know. And I say, I really believe, and I would pray, please, please, let the world see me. And when this invitation came from the WBF, you know, and the funny thing, it came after I lost the SA title. I fought for the SA title. A week later, I get invited to come to fight for a WBF title. And my coach at the time, Hardy Milam, said, "Hey, these opportunities, you cannot say no. This comes once in a lifetime." And I was like, "Coach, I've never been overseas. I've never been on a plane." So it was my first time on a plane. I flew to Slovenia. First time in Europe ever, in a country like Slovenia. I stayed by the Habakkuk Hotel where they do the X Games, snowboarding and stuff like this. And I got fight of the night and I won my first title.
Wow.
You know, holding that title, I think when they said the winner was, it was everything came into reality. All the hard work, running in the morning, doing the Rocky Balboa tricks with the eggs, you know, believing what my mom believed in me, you know, because even to get to that fight, I went through a lot of adversaries where I was living with gangsters because I was on the street, you know. We were selling drugs and stuff like this. I was, the WBF has a whole write-up about this. You know, so the boxing changed my life even when I moved to Durban and found Coach Hardy. He took me, he in that year I had like 6 fights. I was winning, fought for the SA title, didn't win, but out there I was in Slovenia fighting a guy with so much more fights than me. And there's one person who believed in me out of everybody, out of even my whole country were like, no, David's taking chances. You know, funny enough, I never even got because you need permission from your boxing board to go overseas to go and fight. So we never even got that permission. We just went because they didn't believe that I could do this. And my coach said, no, I'm taking you there. You're going to go do this. I don't care if we get suspended for 2 years. If I lose my trainer's license because, you know, you get fined for doing things behind the board's back and stuff. And I won, you know, and that was the biggest wow moment, you know. Even in there, I'll never forget I love Arturo Getty, so I watch lots of Arturo Getty and stuff and move my head and stuff. And in there while I was boxing, I was moving like Arturo Getty, and I was like, wow. And I actually won the fight and holding the title afterwards. I think, you know, that was like the biggest moment in my life because everything came true. Even what my mom had believed, I had believed that, you know what, I'm destined to fight out there in the world. I'm destined to be a champion. It doesn't have to be a WBC or WBA or whatever, but I'm destined to be a champion in what I do. And I got the win in a different country, first time. And, you know, I didn't even get paid for the fight. The prize was the victory. You know?
And that's exactly why we wanted to start this podcast, and we wanted to shine the light on the secrets and sacrifices all professional athletes go through, because it's not always that Instagrammable kind of picture. So they'll kind of see you winning the WBF, and everyone will see it and kind of see it on social media and think that's amazing, but then they won't see all them kind of weeks and months and years of sacrifice that you've kind of gone through, that you've kind of mentioned. And again, there was another story that I was reading, and it was kind of going back to your childhood, which was anything but kind of normal. When I think I read you were sleeping in the gym, you was training 3 to 4 times a day. You didn't have a job. Your wife was pregnant at the time.
This is when I moved to Germany.
Yeah, this was it. So can you recall that time and just kind of explain a little bit about what was going through your mind then? And
so with that is you know, a lot happened then. So even to get to that moment, obviously, good things were happening for me. Winning the international title. I actually got stripped for that title because, as I said, I didn't have management teams and sponsors. To this day, I don't have sponsors. For 23 years, I haven't had like proper sponsors or managing team that has guided me through, you know. I do have a group of friends in Amsterdam and stuff that helped me. And these guys actually changed my life a little bit. They came to Cape Town and I was a personal trainer. I trained them a little bit. We became friends. And they were like, yo, buddy, have you ever been to Amsterdam? And I was like, no. They're like, okay, we like you. We're going to fly you through. And I was like, nah, rubbish. You have all these promises and stuff like this. And then he actually did. And funny enough, they came to watch me fight for the All Africa title.
Okay.
And fighting for the All Africa title, these guys came down. They just to watch me fight. I won the fight. After the fight, he said to me, bro, you don't belong in South Africa. I want to take you out of here. I'm taking you to Europe.
Okay.
And that's when the whole thing with Sean Crew getting signed in the UK,
Yep.
and then we didn't get the visa. I went back to Cape Town, and that's where I met my wife, because I had to go back to South Africa to try and get a visa to go to Sean.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And then I met my wife. Funny enough, she was training for her first amateur fight.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah. So I was there. I just come back from Amsterdam. I'm the All Africa champion. Then the promoter phones me and says, listen, you have to defend in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to defend my title. I'm here in Cape Town everywhere. I need the money. So we have 6 weeks. Everything's crazy. I need to be in the UK, blah, blah, blah. So at the time, my girlfriend, my wife was training. I was training her for her first fight, and that's where we fell in love, training her. She won her first fight and so forth. And then she moved to Germany. And then she said, you know what, because she tried to help me get also to the UK and all. She's like, okay, because nothing is working, we're going, come to Germany with me. Can we get married? And then we will take everything from Germany. Let's try. Okay. So I came all the way here to Germany.
Yep.
We started with getting into Germany. The difficult thing was finding a gym.
Okay.
And funny enough, I arrived in Germany three days before the lockdown of Corona.
Wow. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So when the lockdown started, I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm here for boxing.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have you in Germany.
Yeah.
You don't have. I only got the basic. Hello, guten Tag, guten Morgen. That's it.
Right.
Everything is closed.
Yeah.
My dream is to come here, marry my wife. We start this boxing journey, have my kids, and do this what I've been wanting to do my whole life. Now we hit of Corona. So I said to my wife, what are we going to do? And, she's very supportive with my boxing since the first day I met her, So she started phoning all over around her. And we found one coach, Dominique Younger, one of the best coaches, actually. He's won a few titles of Woman of the Year coaches and stuff like this.
Okay.
He picked up the phone and he's like, hey, and I was like, hey, I'm a former champion. This is my story. And he said, come to my gym and spar. And then my mom-in-law, it's 2 hours away.
Wow.
She got me into the car.
Yeah.
She took me there. And she also knew nothing about boxing until I came into the house. She took me there. We started sparring. And after the first round, that Dominique said to me, I would like you to come back here. It's a tough time now.
Yep.
But if you can get into this gym, I want to work with you. And then we were like, okay, this is very far for me. Firstly, it's like 100 euros, not even 100, it's like 50 euros on the train because it's so far on the speed train, up and down. I don't have this money.
Yep.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have this money. How are we going to do this? So Dominique was like, no, listen here. I've got all international fighters here.
Right.
I've got a room for you.
Yeah.
All I want you to do is train. So I was like, and then my wife just fell pregnant with our firstborn.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, shit. So we live 2 hours away. How do I do this boxing? And then my wife said, you know what, you can do this. Let's do it. It's sacrifices.
Yeah.
Stay in the gym 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You stay in the gym, come home for 1 week.
Yep.
2 weeks. So this is how it started.
Yeah, I get the story now. Yeah, okay.
She was pregnant in the first week. This is how it all started. I was in the gym for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I would come home for 1 week. go to the gym for 2 weeks, come home for 1 week. My wife was pregnant. Women go through a lot at the time of being pregnant. All I wanted to do was be there with her. I would be on the phone with her after training sessions. But when I was there, I'm training 4 times a day. That's all we did. We wake up in the morning, we downstairs, we working. Come back, eat, sleep, you wake up, you work. Strength and conditioning.
Wow.
Eat, sleep, wake up, go do road work. Come back, do some light shadow boxing, go sleep, wake up, another session. We're training 3 to 4. He trains, it's called the House of Champions. So every fighter in there is either IBO or WBC or WBA champion. I was just the only one with the WBF. Even though we're like, what title do you have? I'm like,
oh,
because they all have big titles, But anyway, with that, that's the life I had to live in for 2 years in Dominic. Eat, sleep, train, box. Eat, sleep, train, box. No work. Nothing. I just lived in the gym. 6 months. And then while my wife was sick, the doctors found out that, hey, your little boy is not doing so good in the stomach. He had heart problems. So you must know, then the head start to spin like, shit, what is going on? I need to be at home. My wife is alone. So my wife, being my wife, was like, you know what? You're going to stay in the gym. Well, you came here for a reason. I'm coming to stay in the gym with you. And Struce Bob, while she was pregnant, she came into the gym. We would lie on the ground in the morning.
Wow.
The boxers will see her walking to go shower. And she would stay in my room while I'm busy downstairs. Dominique gave her a little job there in the gym just to help out, clean the gym and stuff while we're busy training. And then when the doors opened, like slowly things started opening up in Germany, she was there working a little bit there, just so she can be close to me. But in this time, we had a situation where my son was sick, and my daughter, she had a heart problem. So I had to come home, we had to see specialists and stuff like this. And then I took a break from boxing because my son was born. When he was born, he was around for like 10 days. And then he had a surgery with his heart and he passed away, So with that, it was the most hardest time for me and my wife. You think to yourself, fuck, you've put so much time. For me, it was a whole mental thing to say, damn it, I was away for majority of my wife's pregnancy. I was in the gym. I could have been there with her more. I could have helped a lot more, But here I am. I'm chasing this thing, She came, she did her best to be there when she could. There, I've just lost my son. And we were like, what the hell? Why am I doing this? What is going on, I came all this way. Is this what I came for? Is this why I came to Europe? Is this why I'm in Germany? I'm not getting any fights. I'm losing my son. I lost my son. What is this all about, And then, Bruce Bob, my son died maybe, let's say, on the Monday. We were at the house on the Tuesday, and something came to me to say, let's go to Algarve. We're going to drive to the Algarve after we cremate him. From there, we're just going to drive. And I said to my wife, while she was crying, I said, listen, something's telling me we have to go to the Algarve, just drive. Something said, my phone just said there, and I pointed there, it was the Algarve. I said, we have to go there. And then we got in the car, we went to cremate my son, got in the car, we took him with, and we drove from Germany, drove right to France, drove all the way to the bottom of Portugal. And that drive, we spoke about everything. She brought us together. And she kept saying to me, you cannot give up. You've come this far with the boxing, because for me it was, I will fight for my kids, I will fight for my son, and losing him was like, what is there to fight for now anymore?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was like, no, we've come so far. We've
Yeah.
spent so much money. We've sacrificed. We've lost so much. You cannot just give up now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then we got to Algarve. We had our time there together. And on the way we were driving back, she said to me, tell the coach you're coming back. And I was like, even this is giving me goosebumps now.
Yeah.
And I said to Coach Dominic, hey, Coach, I'm coming. I'm coming. And he was like, no, you just lost your son. Take it easy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm coming. And we were back in the gym, back working, back training.
Yeah.
And I think just that drive and coming back, it motivated me to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I say we lost a lot, also in the
Yep.
time of the corona,
Yep.
we had an offer to fight Joseph Algeri from Mexico.
Okay.
He had about 21 fights and all.
Okay.
For us, it was going to be a good payday,
Yep.
$10,000. It was going to make up for everything we have lost in the past 2 years with training,
Okay.
trains up and down, food and stuff, staying in the gym and stuff.
Yep.
And my wife used her savings to
Right.
book us flights and accommodation in Mexico and stuff. I was going to fight for
Yep.
some title, WBC, some, I don't know. And we signed and everything.
Okay.
And guess what? 2 days before we were about to leave, 2 days before we were about to leave, the promoter phones,
Yep.
there, promoter phones and says, fight is off.
Oh.
2 days before we are about to leave.
Wow.
This is now we've just came back. We've got ourselves stronger.
Yeah.
Everything, we are together. My wife moved to Karlsruhe, close to
Yep.
the gym. She made sure she got us an apartment close to the gym that I don't have to sleep in the gym anymore.
Yep.
She used all her savings, everything, because she became my manager. She was
Right.
like, I'm going to manage you. We're going to do this. And
Okay.
she sacrificed everything.
Yeah.
Used her large savings, got us an apartment for 3 months for training camp, bought food, made sure I had supplements, all that. Bought the tickets to Mexico, bought the hotel and everything, because they said with your purse, it was going to make up all. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep. Yeah.
And she believed in me. She's like, okay, here you go. The first fight will be in Mexico against such a good fighter. Look, $10,000. Your hard work is paying off, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And 2 days before that, the fight was off, and it crushed her. It
Yeah.
crushed me. Now think about it. I must look at this lovely lady from Germany that brought me out of South Africa,
Yeah.
bringing me here to chase these dreams. And
Yeah.
every time we are dipping,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
happening. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why is this lady doing this for me? What the hell is happening? Is this meant to be?
Yeah.
We're losing so much. We don't even have money. I don't have sponsors.
Yeah.
I have no promoter.
Yeah.
Nobody. When the doors are open, when they started opening up, they only want to use German fighters
Yeah.
to sell seats. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. So with that, then, would you say significant or specific events affected you mentally? Because we've had a number of guests on now whereby they've spoke about, say, depression and not really wanting to kind of go out. We had Jory Davis, who was a professional basketball player for the WNBA, and she actually she got drafted, but then she got cut just before practice started. So from the big high of being kind of drafted, and it was all amazing and like really kind of cool. Before actual official practice took place, she got cut. We've also had Taj Minikon on, who was a professional footballer for the Gold Coast in America, but through the way that the lifestyle was on the Gold Coast, it didn't really kind of agree with him. He was going out probably drinking and partying a little bit too much. He didn't play football for about 6 to 7 months because it was affecting him kind of mentally. Was there any kind of significant events that have kind of affected you mentally? Because
yes, I would
from
say
hearing like your
with
stories
my
now, there's been some real kind of highs, but kind of real lows as well. It's a proper like roller coaster of emotional journey for you.
yes, 100%. I would say losing my son, my firstborn,
Yeah,
was that time. I was very. That's why I think the drive to the Algarve, it
yeah.
took us about 7, 8 weeks to go and come back.
Wow.
Going
Okay.
down,
Yeah, yeah,
I was done with boxing. I was
yeah.
done with it all.
Right. Okay.
I was like, really, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
mind my language. I was like, I'm finished with this.
yeah,
Why? That
yeah,
was the
yeah.
question: is
Okay.
why I put in so much.
Yeah,
I would also think back to say, look where I come from. I come
yeah,
from the streets of Soweto. I've run the streets there,
yeah.
training in the morning. You know, I've 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 idolized my boxer, my hero, Brian
Your
Mitchell.
prime. Yeah,
I
yeah,
called myself the Road Warrior. You
yeah,
know, why is this happening to me? And there was that point when I was like, I'm done. I'm
yeah.
finished with this.
Okay.
Also, I felt I can't put my wife through this
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Like I just said to you, the thing that came to my mind was how this lady, she fall in love with me in South Africa. Maybe in her head was, yeah, we're going to the top with this guy,
yeah, yeah,
and nothing is happening. We're just
yeah,
having death,
yeah,
no fights, no promotion. We're losing money. Uh, so that was there. That was a
yeah,
low time.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
really the low time. But like I said, having the wife that I do, that at that time, to be honest, she was my backbone.
yeah,
She kept me strong. She was the one that said, listen here, when we get back, you're going back into the gym.
yeah,
You're going
yeah,
to do what you were born to do,
yeah,
And
yeah,
like that, just that motivated. But before that, I was like, no, bro, I'm
yeah,
done
yeah,
with this, uh, you feel very empty. You
yeah,
feel very uh, lost.
yeah,
I was very lost. I was very empty. I grew up in a praying family, a very Christian family.
yep,
So I always kept my faith to say, you know, everything happens for a reason.
yeah,
Uh, but I will always question that, like, why this?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
this? You
And I
know?
think it takes a very special person with a massive amount of intrinsic motivation to want to keep on going. From
100%.
everything that you've kind of been through with like say your mum and then your son, with all the kind of promoters, and it does take a real special someone, and someone behind you as well to
Yes.
keep kind of motivating and to keep that
No,
resilience and
you,
dedication going.
if I didn't have a wife I have today,
Yeah,
I don't think I would be this far. You
yeah,
know, even in Germany, when the fights have started.
yeah,
I won one fight
yeah.
out of our 14 2 years. I've had 5 fights. I've had the
Okay.
5 hardest fights,
Yeah.
one easy fight, and very 4 hard fights. And you know what? Even I fight top 120. I fought 2 Olympians already.
Yep.
These are tough fights. These
Yeah.
guys here in Germany, they're putting me against the toughest guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have a management team where I'm looking for number 900 in the world to build me and stuff.
Yep.
I have to look at number 200. I need to fight number 100. I need to fight number 95. I
Yeah.
need to fight the top 50s to just elevate my career, to get
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So even with that, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But with the wife I have and with the family I have,
Yeah.
it keeps me going. And I
Yeah.
think the birth of our daughter also, that lit a spark up.
Yeah.
That brought my spark to say, oh, I want to fight for my son. My daughter is here.
Yep.
I still fight today for my
Yep.
son and my
Yep.
daughter. And now I have I have a 3-month-old son,
Yep.
and that has filled me so much.
Yeah.
Like I feel complete.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I even say to my wife and to everybody, like, last year, and I've had fights, yes, I don't think I was at my best in these fights because the death of my son left an empty hole. But now, the birth of my son now
Yep.
has filled me up.
Yep.
It's closed that hole. You know, not to say my daughter didn't close that hole.
Yep.
My daughter gave me light. She gave me a reason.
Yeah.
But it's the birth of my son has filled me complete. To say you're full now. The soul, the spirit is full. You know, there's no more that emptiness. There's no more that missing. Something is missing. Now I'm full. I can now I push. Even when I hit the bag now, it's like for my children because they are here. You know, this is what I've wanted. I wanted to have these kids. I wanted to have my wife, my kids, and I want to show them the world of boxing the best I can. And I think that's why I'm so motivated in 2024 than I was in the last 2 to 3, 4 years in Germany.
Okay. So hearing all those stories today then, would you say climbing or trying to climb the mountain that you've been on, would you say climbing the mountain has been worth the view for you then? Hearing all those stories and all those sacrifices, would you say it's been worth climbing the mountain for your boxing
we
career?
grew up knowing God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So for me, it's what we've been through, what I've been through has been very, very tough and all, but it's made me the man I am today. It's made me the fighter I am today. It's made me strong. That I know I'm stronger than my opponent. It's made me mentally strong, physically, and spiritually strong. You know, I feel if with everything that I've been through, if I was supposed to fail, it was supposed to break me down. It would have. But we chose to stand up and fight it on, you know. Even now, with the birth of my son now, 3 months ago, I fought Anthony Yogeti. Nobody knows this.
Okay.
3 days before I left for Anthony Yogeti, my last fight. Anthony Yogeti has fought Keyshawn Davies. He has fought on big shows in the States. This was my hardest fight. 3 days before this fight, my son was born premature and with problems, with bowel problems. So, believe it or not, So, what do you do? And I said, I'm going to go fight. You know, I'm not 100% in here. But we've been taught to never back down. We go, we face what we have to face. We come back, you know? And through this, I said to my wife, you know what, we're going to get what we've been through, our journey. This is just going to make our love stronger. It's going to make us as a family stronger. Because think about it now. My wife just lost a son, has a daughter, and now, boom, she has a premature birth. And as soon as the baby's out, they tell her, hey, your baby might die.
Right.
You understand? And I said to her, hey, we're here. We're going to get through this. We've done it before. Look how we bounce back. We have a little beautiful girl. We're a strong family. You know, these things kill families. These things kill relationships. You know, these things, even what she went through, sacrificing so much, nothing happening, it was easy for her to say, nah, I'm done with this guy. But she stuck it through. You know, even after we lost the son together, we've been together, we've stuck it through. We've built strength. And these things, it's the worst thing. I wish it on nobody. I wish it on not even my worst enemy. I don't wish such things. But such things break people. This has only made so not just me and my wife, very strong people, you know? And I think this goes back to my mom for me. My mom was such a fighter. My mom believed you fight till the end. For anything, you fight for what you want. You know, if you have to live under a tree. This was I used to say when I was little. I used to be like, fuck it. I would sleep underneath a tree every day to go into the boxing gym. You understand? Because this is what I want. You know, even through the trials and tribulations that I went through, you get back on there, I'm in the road, I'm crying, but I'm on doing road work because I believe out there forward, where I'm going forward, what I'm training for is going to be bigger than what's happening now in my life. You understand? And I think that's what has kept me going. It's just that belief Mom taught me to say you keep going no matter what. Nobody can tell you you won't become what you want to become. You know? And having a backbone having my wife as my backbone at that time, at my lowest time, also has kept me going. And this is the fire I have inside of me. Just remembering, even now you're asking me, I just want to go and train and be like, I'm going to show these guys, you know. Just me telling you my story it's hyping because you feel as you've been through so much, you've sacrificed so much. You know, you must know I left home. I left everything. I left friends. I left my family. I left all to come to Germany, you know. Knowing in my head something's going to happen out here. If I had stayed in South Africa, if you see, I was David Rajuili, poster boy, called the Kodak promotions, always headlining. I was training models. Life was good. I was living the life. But you know what? I said, what I is out there. Like I told you, I used to pray running on a promenade, saying, I belong out there. No matter what it takes, that's where I belong, you know? And coming out here, man, there was a saying, life is greener on the other side. Hey, hell no.
So with that then, as the show comes to an end, we used to have a tradition on series 1 and 2 where we'd ask all our guests if they had a favourite quote or philosophy that's helped them kind of along the way to get where they are today. However, in season 3, I wanted to ask something slightly different. I just wanted to know what advice from the experiences and journeys you've been on would you give yourself if you was to start your journey all over again from what you know now?
I would always say is the faith and the fight and trust in God's plan, because it won't be an easy road, but it will be a beautiful road at the end. Because God always has a good plan, you know. That's what I would tell myself. And one thing I always tell myself, since Anton Gilmore said it to me, is shoot for the moon, because you will always end up in the stars. And guess what? I fought the stars. I fought some big names in boxing. I fought some big shows. And that's why is my moon is boxing. You know, no matter what, being on the streets, being here, there, I've always had my eyes set on boxing, of being like a Brian Mitchell, a road warrior. That one day the kids back at home, you know, in the townships, they can say, you know what, this guy comes from here, from where we are, and look at him now. He's in Germany. You know, for me, it's not about winning or losing, to be really honest. It's about entertaining, giving the people a good show. It's always been like this for me since I was little. So this has got me this far. And I never gave up on myself. You know, I always believe I have something great, some sort of greatness in me, some sort of light in me, no matter what. And it is lighting up, it is flourishing. And that's what I would tell me.
You were starting the journey again. So finally then, what's next on your journey? Is there any future plans or projects that you're kind of working for? I know you're wanting to help aspiring boxers in, say, like South Africa already. I've also read that you host your own like kind of YouTube boxing show where you interviewed like world and former kind of champs, promoters, managers, even Hall of Fame inductees like Brian Mitchell, like we've mentioned on the show. So is there anything 100%. That we can kind of look out for in the future?
Yeah, so the plan is actually to get back onto my Ringside Talk Show in February. I've got slowly lining up some guests to slowly get back into that. Also, my aim is to help a lot of South African fighters to get them into Europe, if not Europe, the world of boxing. I've I've in the last 4 years, I've also connected with many matchmakers and promoters.
Cool.
So if I can help any fighter, I've already helped one guy in Nigeria, Ezra. I got him fighting in the Netherlands with me last year. Now he's actually fighting on the same bill as me for the WBF title. So things like this make me happy to say, hey, look, I helped the guy out, and now we're on the same bill, but he's fighting for a title. So, opening doors for other African fighters, not just South Africa, Africa as a whole. And in terms of the boxing career, like I said, the birth of my son has really filled me. I feel like I haven't done it at 1,000%. I'm going to give it a shot this year. We're going to go hard. Amazing. I have a signed contract fight. That's definitely happening on the 30th of March. I'll be fighting in Holland.
Fantastic. Amazing.
I'll be fighting in Holland. That's a definite fight. I might be also fighting on the 9th of March in Copenhagen. We're just waiting for contracts and officially to say, okay, the fight is on. That's just talk at the moment. But the official fight is on the 30th of March in Holland. I'll be back in Holland on an 8-rounder. At a bigger weight, 68 kgs. And my whole goal is really to be a 3-time WBF champion. It's never happened before, I don't think, in South Africa. And when I say 3-time, 3-weight division champion.
Yeah, because you got 2 at the moment, haven't you?
In different ways, yes. So this is the goal. Is hopefully to get maybe in the super lightweight or super welterweight or the welterweight division a WBF title shot and to win that. Then I feel that I have done what I needed to do in the sport of boxing. Because since I was little, since winning that second title, I said I have to be a 3-time division champion. And that's why actually I'm going up the weight division. Just to get that title shot. Even if it's a WBF title, I will be, for me, it will be such an honor to be a 3-time weight WBF champion. So that is the goal. And obviously, here in Germany, I do train some guys in the park and stuff like this. And the ultimate goal is to obviously have a gym one day, train the future. I have my son, I have my daughter. She's always coming with me to boxing. She loves the boxing, She motivates me to keep going, And with my son now, obviously, the older he gets, I want to teach him and all, not just my daughter and my son, but all the youngsters and all around here in Germany and stuff. If I can share my knowledge with the youth, I would love to do this, I believe we are blessed if it's by going around fighting in the world or learning from different coaches. For me, I see it as blessings. So I feel we are blessed to bless others, So that is my main goal, is to have a gym one day here, train the guys. And who knows, I might have my own champions one day. My children write me my champions. Who knows, all I know, I don't have the 50-0 records, 30-0 records. But as I say, I've never really fought for fortune and fame. It's always been a fight to, like the road warrior, to doing what I really believe in, never giving up, and showing my talents to the world, whether you lose or win. And it's worked. Every time I fight, promoters just want me back. People love me. My fan base grows. So it's going good. It doesn't have to be all wins and glorified and all of this. You just have to trust God's plan.
Well, I'm sure the listeners and the viewers at home, they'll definitely see and they'll wish you so much luck. They can see so much kind of resilience, and just listening to your stories today, words like kind of resilience and determination, dedication, and obsession, all kind of spring to mind. And I'm sure your mum is looking down on you and just thinking how proud she is of everything that you've kind of done, everything that you've
brother.
kind of come through, and still watching the journey that you're on. So good luck with all your future ventures. Good luck with your forthcoming matches. And I'm sure with a mindset and a personality like yours, what you've demonstrated throughout your career so far, you'll be a huge, huge success. So David Rajuili, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest on Elite Children, a Family Portrait. So thank you very much, David.
Thank you very much, man. And once again, thank you for having me on Elite Children. And, thank you for your time. Thank you for this platform. And thank you for hearing my story. And
no
from the
problem
bottom
at all.
of my heart, I really, really appreciate this time and hearing my story. And I wish your listeners, it touches somebody, and my story really motivates someone out there who's going through a bad time or a hard time, that you know what, anything is possible. Like I keep saying, trust God's plan and never give up, shoot for the moon, always end up in the stars.
Amazing words just to finish off with there, David. Thank you very much.
No problem, brother.